Hey, what's up everyone? Back today with some more findings. I can't help myself. I keep going back to the lab, keep experimenting and trying new things. Thank you to all you guys in the comments yesterday. Definitely learned a lot about lucky hit, damage over time, and I put them all to the test, and I've kind of reworked some things here and found some new stuff that works for me. Basically, what we were doing yesterday, if you don't remember, I added in Blizzard. We're not relying as much as cooldown reduction because I have struggled to upgrade my gear here. You'll see that I am still on a two-hander. Every single video I make, people keep saying, you know, you should get a one-hander. I would love that, but unfortunately, I'm not able to get a good one. I've tried very, very hard. This is the best wand, and this is the best focus that I found so far. Very short of it, you can see that my ice shards does 5,300 damage. And then if I equip these, my ice shards go down to 3,000 damage. It attacks 20% faster. Yeah, I get it. I get some cooldown recovery rate and all that. I did some testing. It feels like it's basically about half damage. Unfortunately, I haven't found a good one-handed setup. I would absolutely love that. In the diablobuilds.gg links that I'm giving you guys, I will always give you, the one-hand setup so you can see more aspects. But yeah, this is what I'm stuck with right now. So with that said, I wanted to rework the build to something that's less cooldown reliant and less gear reliant. And I think that's something that is, useful for people that are gearing up. Really, once you get to like level 40 and 50, you get Avalanche, you should be able to put this build together in a more comfortable way. You're not worrying about all that cooldown and your mana cost as much. So we were using Blizzard and we were using the Frozen Orb enchantment to automatically trigger a Frozen Orb 20% of the time when we cast any of our spells. Unfortunately, I just found that not too reliable. And then there was a kind comment yesterday that said, hey, consider using the Frostbolt enchantment for chill and freeze. This will also enable your ice shards to chill and freeze. So this is technically less chill than when I triggered a frozen orb and it would explode 3 times. Like that was like 110% chill off of a single frozen orb. But like I always like to say is, give me consistency over unreliable stuff. And so by removing those points into frozen orb and using the Frostbolt enchantment, like I said, now our ice shards is going to chill and freeze, contributes to that. It opened up some passive points in the build and I was just kind of looking around. Devouring Blaze is incredible and it's really good. But I very much value these enchantment slots. Like I really want these enchantment slots to give me something consistent, like utilitarian, that makes my build just feel really good outside of raw damage. There's 1 or 2 comments yesterday that said, you have to use the Firebolt enchant. You're missing so much by you're not using it. I took that as a challenge. And so I looked around at all of the different sources of burning. And yeah, actually, I already had burning with Flame Shield if I wanted to, but we nicely have Hydra right here. So if you're able to take 3 points out of something, which I was able to do, I was able to go into Hydra here with the summoned Hydra for 12% base damage as a 6-second burn. And the nice thing here is I really don't have to summon it that often. I can do my regular damage rotation for killing regular monsters. And then when I need that burning, when I need that spiky damage, if I'm fighting a hard elite, I'm fighting a boss or anything like that, then I drop a Hydra, then I get a lot more damage when I'm fighting those hard monsters. That's basically the main change here. I did a lot of testing this morning. It's 2 p.m. already. I've just been sitting here whittling away and fiddling with stuff. And this is basically what just feels really good and consistent. I think it'll allow me to scale my damage a lot more consistently, and it relies less on unreliable things. The other really nice thing is that I did a little bit of extra testing here, is that you can stack Blizzard, and the blizzards will all stack on top of each other, especially the chill effect. So if you put 2 blizzards on a monster, it will freeze really, really quickly. It's actually pretty incredible. That's a really nice thing about the playstyle is we actually don't really care too much about manually casting ice shards. If we're fighting any big pack of monsters, we can just spam our blizzard here and it'll eventually freeze and then the ice shards will proc and it'll do really big damage on top of that. Anyway, the build feels really, really good. I was able to integrate burning back into the build, get that 30% increased damage. Oh yeah, I did have a couple other things in my inventory I wanted to show you guys. So Frostburn, a lot of people keep telling me about the Frostburn. I know my first version of the build, I actually used Frostburn. Someone DM'd me on Discord and said, hey, consider doing this. Here's my setup. I'm using Frostburn with Ice Heart Brace. My first video was using Frostburn with Ice Heart Brace. As you scale into the harder content, the game just gets harder. And things like uniques that give you basically no defense become very hard to justify unless you're blowing everything up. So you can see here, my gloves give me +4 to the rank of my ice shards. So if you look at this, it says 5,300 damage. And then if I put these guys on, it says 4,200 damage. So I lose about 20% damage and the 20% more damage to vulnerable enemies while you have a barrier, right? The single target, you're going to run into really hard elites and bosses. So unfortunately, something that is only for clear doesn't really have as much value when you're doing those harder nightmare dungeons. Same thing with the Ice Heart Brace. Really fun. Enemies that die while frozen, has a chance to unleash a Frost Nova. As you can see, these pants are my big boy pants. they make me way, way, way tankier. You can see I have 7,900 life, 5,800 armor. If I put this on, I lose 900 life and 400 armor. Just for better clear, right? That's really, really hard to justify. And then I do want to call an honorable mention here really quick. I can't help myself. I got to keep giving you guys more information. If your mana is solved, for example, you can go for this right here using a cooldown restores mana. This one's really, really good. I don't know if you can get this in a dungeon. It doesn't show on diablobuilds.gg, but I got this from a drop. It's huge. Like basically, if my mana goes down at all, I can just press any of my cooldowns, teleport, boom, my mana goes back up. Or I press my flame shield, mana goes up again. Clearing with Shatter. Shatter's incredible. Huge explosions that blow up the whole screen. With this, you don't need Ice Heart Brace at all. If you want to go for more mana sustain and 40% increased damage, then you can go to Avalanche when you're going to fight a boss. Spend that 40k gold every dungeon if you need to swap. Always the goal is to go into Shatter as soon as you have enough mana sustain. But if you're going to fight some hard bosses or anything, Avalanche is going to be better for you. Hopefully that addresses most of the things that people have brought up. Thank you to the folks in the comments. It's been very helpful and educational. There's a lot of assumptions and testing that we have to do about stuff. I always have people in chat like saying things, and then we test it, and sometimes it's like half true or fully true or not true, and it's always interesting to learn more stuff. My plan, hopefully, for the next video for this build is going to be a little bit later. I'm going to have more generic Diablo 4 content that's not build specific in the next couple days, and then I really want like the end of the week to show you guys the final end game on the build. I'm going to be farming pretty hard for that. That's the goal. You can join me on stream if you want to see me do that. Twitch.tv/subtractem. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are having a great time, and yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.